Taiwan is now beginning to fend for itself militarily, as Donald Trump's administration appears to abandon a key ally. Taiwan's new electronic warfare system is being showcased as an answer to Xi Jinping's expanding arsenal. With budgets under pressure, the Hsuan Chieh looks like Taiwan's attempt to cram multiple critical capabilities into a single vehicle. With no $14 billion US weapons aid in sight, the big question in Taipei is whether Taiwan will be forced to fight China largely on its own. US pause on arms deal might not be about weapons shortages. Critics say there are deeper political and strategic reasons behind Trump's move. Taiwan began visibly boosting its own military capabilities just days after the United States effectively cancelled or froze a $14 billion arms deal, signaling a decisive shift in strategy. In response, the Taiwanese Army recently unveiled its new Hsuan Chieh tactical electronic warfare vehicles, presenting them as a key pillar of its future battlefield network. These vehicles have been developed at a time when China's army continues to grow in size and sophistication, steadily expanding the gap in raw conventional power. These developments were highlighted in late May defense reporting, drawing attention to how quickly Taipei is moving to plug critical vulnerabilities. The tactical electronic warfare vehicles are designed to support combined arms brigades in the field, jamming enemy communications and degrading Chinese command and control. Crucially, the Hsuan Chieh can also counter enemy electronic warfare jamming, helping to keep Taiwan's own networks and sensors alive under heavy attack. The Hsuan Chieh reportedly offers similar performance to Taiwan's existing Panchi command vehicle, but with a new focus on electronic warfare and battlefield networking. It has been purpose-built to sit inside combined arms brigades, moving with frontline maneuver units rather than staying far behind the lines. The vehicles are meant to be directly attached to combined arms battalions, giving commanders an organic electronic warfare and communications hub at the tactical level. In essence, Hsuan Chieh acts as a frontline tactical electronic warfare and command and control node, knitting together sensors, shooters, and headquarters in real time. Before entering service, the new platform was reportedly put through extensive field testing to prove it can cope with harsh, real-world conditions. It also underwent third-party verification of its onboard systems, ensuring that communications and EW suites perform as advertised. Engineers stress-tested the vehicle in realistic combat scenarios, simulating jamming, drone operations, and contested airwaves. The entire testing regime has focused on making sure the Hsuan Chieh can deliver reliable performance under fire, not just in lab environments. The vehicle integrates new-generation communication suites, allowing secure, resilient links between units spread across the battlefield. It is fitted with advanced electronic warfare equipment capable of detecting, disrupting, and deceiving enemy signals. Hsuan Chieh also hosts networked drone control and support systems, helping to coordinate unmanned assets from a protected platform. Acting as an air-to-ground communications hub, it can relay data between ground forces, drones, and other airborne platforms. Operationally, the vehicle links drones, radars, and ground units in real time, building a shared situational picture for commanders. It constantly validates air-to-ground communications and radar intelligence flows, making sure information is reaching the right shooters. Its mission is to ensure that sensors and EW kits actually work in high-stress combat conditions, not just on the test range. Overall, Hsuan Chieh is built to boost situational awareness and survivability for Taiwanese forces, even under intense Chinese electronic attack. Analysts warn that in a future conflict, the Chinese army could focus heavily on jamming US-supplied HIMARS systems in Taiwan, trying to blind and isolate key rocket units. Electronic warfare systems like Hsuan Chieh are expected to complicate these Chinese efforts, making it harder to coordinate and execute precision strikes. Some assessments even suggest the platform could be used to neutralize or suppress local air defenses by disrupting enemy targeting and guidance networks. Taiwan began urgently boosting its own defenses just as the US became absorbed by the war with Iran and quietly cancelled the mega-arms sale, forcing Taipei to hedge against being left alone. Experts claim the reported pause in US arms shipments to Taiwan is not a consequence of the conflict in Iran, arguing instead that other strategic and political calculations are far more likely to explain the holdup, according to The Guardian. Those experts weighed in after a U.S. official publicly stated that the pause in the Taiwan arms deal was linked to the war in Iran, prompting analysts to examine the plausibility and motives behind that explanation. The report appeared just days after Chinese President Xi Jinping issued a warning to former President Trump against interfering in Taiwan affairs, heightening tensions and adding a diplomatic backdrop to questions about the U.S. arms decision. During Mr. Trump's visit to Beijing, Xi warned that Taiwan could drag U.S.-China relations into a dangerous place, using strong language to underscore Beijing's sensitivity and signaling potential consequences for actions perceived as meddling. The pause in a U.S.-Taiwan $14 billion arms package was reported to have occurred after President Trump's Beijing trip on May 14 to 15, a timing that has led observers to link the development with a high-profile diplomatic engagement. Experts argue that the United States' involvement in the Iran war and any resulting logistical strain on arms inventories is an unlikely explanation for the pause, with many pointing to political calculations as the more probable cause. Analysts told reporters there is a very, very low likelihood that the Iran war has materially impacted the Taiwan deal, stressing that such a connection would require evidence of extraordinary operational constraints not currently apparent. Those same analysts informed The Guardian that processing and approving a complex arms package of this scale could take up to 6 years, highlighting the lengthy bureaucracy and legal reviews that typically accompany high-value defense deals. Rupert Hammond Chambers, president of the U.S.-Taiwan Business Council, said, and I quote, "If he sends those congressional notifications by the end of June, you're talking about another 6 to 12 months before the contract is signed, and then the clock starts on delivery. So we're really into the 2030s, by the time Taiwan's weapons are delivered." Unquote. Uncertainty over the deal surfaced after former President Trump suggested, in remarks that reverberated through diplomatic circles, that he might take steps to block the Taiwan arms package, creating fresh ambiguity around the timing and fate of the agreement. Trump openly stated he could leverage future Taiwan arms sales as a bargaining chip in negotiations with Beijing, a claim that introduced a transactional element to what has long been framed as a strategic security partnership and raised alarms among allies and analysts alike. If delays to the arms package extend into the autumn months, the resulting gap in Taiwan's defense preparations could leave the island in an extremely precarious and vulnerable position, undermining readiness and complicating deterrence at a critical moment. Meanwhile, plans are moving forward for President Trump to host Xi Jinping in Washington this September, a high-stakes meeting that could directly influence the trajectory of U.S.-China relations and decisions about Taiwan security provisions. The United States has formally paused a $14 billion arms sale to Taiwan, even as tensions with China continue to soar in the Taiwan Strait and beyond. The update was delivered by the U.S. Navy's acting secretary, Hung Cao, during a Senate hearing on May 21, putting the decision on the public record. Cao explained that the pause was intended to conserve munitions for America's ongoing war on Iran, arguing that U.S. forces must be fully equipped for current operations. Hung Cao said, and I quote, "Right now, we're doing a pause in order to make sure we have the munitions we need for epic fury, which we have plenty. But we're just making sure we have everything, but then the foreign military sales will continue when the administration deems necessary." End quote. Cao also stated that the decision to move forward with the Taiwan sale would ultimately be made by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. A senior analyst warned that the pause will likely exacerbate anxiety in Taiwan, where leaders already question how reliable U.S. backing will be in a crisis. The same analyst argued it will make it harder for Taipei to ask its own legislature for additional defense budget in future, because lawmakers will point to stalled U.S. deliveries. Meanwhile, Taiwanese Premier Cho Jung-tai told reporters that Taipei will continue to pursue arms purchases, insisting Taiwan has no choice but to keep strengthening its defenses. Trump confirmed that he discussed the proposed arms sale with Xi Jinping during their talks in Beijing, indicating that Taiwan featured directly in his negotiations with China's leader. Taiwan's Coast Guard unveiled the last of its 12 new high-tech ships that are built to carry missiles, a milestone delivery that completes a rapid force modernization push intended to boost the island's layered maritime defenses. The Anping-class catamaran patrol ships are based on the Navy's Tuo-Chiang-class warships, adapting a proven fast-attack hull form into a Coast Guard platform with enhanced speed and survivability. The unveiling of the warships was reported by Reuters on May 15 during President Trump's China trip, a timing that highlighted how regional naval developments are intersecting with major diplomatic events. Tuo-Chiang-class warships are highly maneuverable vessels designed to take out larger ships, using speed, low observability, and concentrated firepower to punch above their weight in contested littoral waters. The Taiwan Coast Guard version has space to fit anti-ship missiles and is intended to serve as a backup to the Navy, offering a dispersed and resilient layer of strike capability in case frontline naval assets are constrained. The Coast Guard no longer performs solely traditional law enforcement duties, having been equipped and reorganized to play a direct role in Taiwan's deterrence posture and joint defense planning.